Good morning, Windows Daily number 65. Today is Thursday, September 29th. I know yesterday I reported that yesterday was Thursday. Wednesday, I said yesterday was Thursday, September 28th, and that was wrong. And I'm sure most of you caught that, but it's hard. I don't see the future very well. For me to have known that Wednesday was going to be the 28th was going to be Wednesday, not Thursday, I don't see into the future that well, right? Even though that was only about 30 minutes ago that I recorded that video. Oh, I'm so confused. Today is Thursday, September 29th, 2022, except that for me, it's actually still Monday, September 26th. About 10:27 a.m. Why do I do this to myself? All right. And this video titled something to the effect of, I might change it by the time I publish this, I don't know. Rack mount hot swap drive. So I'm going to demonstrate what the experience is of hot swapping drives in a rack mount server. Hot swapping means you don't shut the computer down to swap drives. I do this periodically on these servers as a form of backup, and we'll explain that as we go in. I said, wait a minute, Doug, you just said in yesterday's video that you recorded 30 minutes ago that you do a cloud backup and external drives backup. Now you're saying you also swap drives as a backup? Yes, I do. So here we'll go start taking a look at that. Oh, I didn't mention we're starting at 9:01 a.m. You should have seen this video start at 9:01 a.m. with one of those. If you're watching live for the preview, you get a little 1-minute lead in that's not recorded with the video. So people who don't watch it live don't get to see that. So there. So here's the first photo. And at the end of that video that you watched yesterday that I recorded half an hour ago, I said this was the first photo of the next. Boy, that is not coming through very well on the recording, is it? I don't see those wavy lines that you see. Oh well, we're gonna have to live with that. So here I'm restarting the server. These are the same servers that you saw on yesterday's show. Although maybe somebody's watching this video that didn't see those. So I'll go back to those photos and show you. Here's the front of the rack mount servers. And then here's the back of the rack mount servers. And the drives that we're dealing with are in these slide out trays right here. We have two servers that we're using in this office. And what I'm doing here is showing the experience of hot swapping a drive. Let's get back to, where are we at here? Where is it? Where is it? I scrolled past it. Oh, here. This is what I called the first photo. Now, this was at the same service call. I was out there on Saturday, September 24th. Was it that Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, September 24th. I have to look at calendars to know which day it is. And even then, sometimes I still get it wrong. At 7:51 a.m. So that was before Saturday's live stream, which always starts at 11 a.m. I was out on this routine service call. I thought it was routine, but it got a little more involved. I thought I was just going to swap backup drives or the external drives, and then I decided, then I had the power supply issue. And that's what yesterday's video was showing you the power supply issue. It didn't take long. And then I decided I'll just go ahead and swap these drives. So I'm saying swap C:mirror drive. Going to the next photo. So here's the video. So here's drive 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I described that in yesterday's video, that they are not numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 drives numbered 0 through 4. These two drives are mirrored to each other. Over here, you see they're 146 gigabytes in size. Remember, this is an older server. And this is the boot drive. Not going to be any data there. So actually, even with current modern day servers, you could still do a 146 gigabyte. And it's a SAS drive. So it's not It's not IDE, it's not SATA, it's SAS. It's a different kind of connector, even though it's similar to the size of a 2.5-inch spinning drive. These 3 drives are in RAID 5. So the mirror drives is RAID 1, and they are duplicates of each other. They are constantly kept in sync with each other, duplicates of each other. The RAID 5 drives are what's called striped, where if any one of these drives goes bad, the other 2 drives can calculate the missing data and the system stays up and running. And then you can remove the drive that's gone bad and put in a replacement drive, and it will resynchronize so that you're back at your redundancy level of RAID 5, where you can tolerate one drive going bad. So you can tolerate any one of these drives in RAID 5 going bad. We can also add more drives. Now that's why we purchased these servers with extra drive bays unoccupied, so that we could add drives to expand the space on the fly. We can put in an extra drive and configure it on the fly without shutting the server down to be extra storage space. I kind of have a question mark in my mind whether I can do it with the way this server is configured, but I think so. These 2 being mirror drives, either one of these drives could go bad, and we can hot swap it just like we can with RAID 5. However, we cannot add more drives. With RAID level 1, some mirrored drives, we can accommodate, we can tolerate. We have redundancy here so that one of those drives can go bad. We can pull the bad drive out and put in a replacement. But we cannot add more drives to the system. So we have the boot drives set up as mirror drives because that's not likely to grow for the booting the operating system. But these drives for data, it's more likely that those may grow. So we configured those as RAID 5. I'm going to play through this to show what I do here. Now, I actually demonstrate what would happen if you use an incorrect technique. I knew what is my easy way to go with this, but I'm just showing what would happen if you were not aware of the right way of doing this. Would you be inclined to shut the server down and then swap the drives? Because if you're not experienced with a server, this can be a really unnerving thing the first time you try to go pull out hot swap a drive while the system is up and running. And I have done this with the office staff working at the time. I have done the procedure that I'm going to demonstrate as the correct procedure to use. But first, I took the time to demonstrate what would happen if you shut the server down and try swapping drives. So here I'm playing this video again. I'm not sure how far along I get on this video. There you see some activity lights going on. And there's the server shut down. That's what happened in this video is I shut the server down. That's why right at the end there, you see those lights go off right there. Okay, so now we go to the next photo. So here it's all shut down, and then I'm gonna push that button and pull this drive out. And then just for demonstration's sake, I do that on the first drive. These are the 2 drives that were mirrored to each other. I put the first drive back in, close the snap. Now, you get the impression there, it doesn't look like it's all the way in, but it is. And then I take the swap drive, take off my label that shows the last time that I swapped the drives, and put it in that drive to simulate how a technician who is not accustomed to swapping drives on a rack mount server might be tempted to do this, thinking that it's a safer way to do it. It's not. So I turn the server on. I see those lights come on for the boot drive. It checks those drives and starts trying to boot. And we got a little bit of normal dark time here as it's trying to start. Let's see, do I have audio? Yeah, so you can hear the server's running. I muted it. You're actually hearing two servers there because the other server is still running. I'm going to drag this playhead forward. I'm not sure how long it takes. There we see some flickering. You see both of those drives flickering. So that is the RAID controller system querying those drives. It doesn't realize yet that those drives are not synchronized to each other because one of them was sitting out, has been sitting out for a while, a couple months, I think. And then you see it light up the RAID 5 drives. Then we're going to go back and look at the screen here in a moment. Drag forward. Yeah, so here the server is not started yet. So we got RAID controller BIOS, foreign configuration found on adapter. It calls us a foreign configuration. It says that drive I don't recognize. I don't remember that drive. That drive at least hasn't been here for a while. It's not the current drive. It's foreign to me. Press any key to continue or C to load the configuration utility. Press F to import foreign configuration and continue. I don't want to do either of those. Neither of those are really the right way for me to go. I could deal with it in the configuration utility by then telling it that the drive that's in bay number 0 is the correct drive, and I want to sync the second drive in bay number 1 to the drive that's in bay number 0. But I'm not going to do that way. I don't go that far into demonstrating this less than ideal method of doing this. So then I come down here and show all those lights are lit up because the RAID controller card is trying to evaluate what's going on. It's just paused right now, waiting for me to tell it what to do. And I think what I wind up doing here is shutting the server down. Scrubbing forward. All right, so that's the end of this video. Now this is the video I'm still looking at, right? 2 minutes 43, isn't this the one that I just, yeah, 2 minutes 43. So now hit right arrow key to go to the next one. And I'm showing this on screen. So what do I show here? Yeah, I'm going to go shut the server off. Now I'm just demonstrating here. Don't do it this way. Not a good idea. So I'm going to take that drive back out. Now I'm also demonstrating here. Oh, let me point out. Whoops. I did a right arrow key. Shouldn't have done that. I saw something here that's a little misleading. Okay, so here. I want to point something out here before we get past this. Does it look like that drive is operating right now? Doesn't that look like a green power light, like it's running right now? That's a deception. Not true. You are seeing that green there, but what is it? Do I reveal that when I pick that up? Yeah, see here it is. It's that green post-it note is what you're seeing. It made it look like the power light was on. So I put that original drive back in, move my handwritten label away, and putting this drive back in. Now, these two drives in bay 0 and 1, they were already mirrored to each other. Does the controller card remember that? When I turn it on, is it automatically going to recognize? These two are okay. I recognize these. There's nothing foreign here. Nothing to see here. Move along. Let's boot up the server. I'm dragging the playhead forward, configuring memory, and then the Dell splash screen. We get those messages in the upper right. Dragging the playhead forward. You can tell by the length of this video how long this takes. And it recognizes those drives, and it told, well, let me back up here a little bit. Show this again. Virtual, oops, back up again. There. 2 virtual drives found on host adapter, 2 virtual drives handled by BIOS. But wait a minute, there's 5 drives. Why does it say 2? Well, the mirrored drives counts as 1 drive, virtual drive. They count as a virtual drive, those 2 disks. And then the other 3 disks count as the second virtual drive. And playing forward, and I'm going to pull it, scrub the playhead forward, and see that we get all the way up into a booted operating system. Okay, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to take it back to here, see if there's anything else on that I want to show without exposing the client's desktop. That's on a server desktop. I don't think there's anything there that is really of concern. For privacy, no, there's not. I'll go ahead and show the remainder of that. So then I go back down and see that the mirror drives are flickering away. The RAID 5 drives are occasionally flickering. I saw them flicker once, but they're not being accessed right now. So everything is fine. I put that drive back in and we're good. And I'll move on to the next captured video. Oh, so I brought up resource monitor here. This is just a photo to show disk activity going on. Now those high spikes here, you got to realize this is showing a scale of 100 kilobytes per second. So that's not a lot of activity. Let's see, here it says 3% highest active time for disk activity. Now we got another video. What am I going to do here? Now this server, on yesterday's video, we were looking at the COM server. This is called the file server. This is where our majority data is stored. The COM server that back in history was primarily used to manage the communications using Windows Terminal Server with our office that was about an hour drive away on a dedicated VPN line. They had a different word for it other than VPN, but it was a dedicated connection where we didn't have to do any kind of connection work to the other office. It was just managed through their routers. So this is the file server where they store all their data. Clicking play. And then I'm ejecting drive bay number 1, which is the second of those 2 mirrored drives, while the server's up and running, even while people are working. And then move my handwritten label over and then put in the replacement mirror drive that has the mirrored image from, I don't know if it's a month and a half, 2 months ago, how long it is. So it's an obsolete image, but I'm putting it in the drive, even though it has data on it, and I don't have to do anything on screen to get the server to recognize that that is a new replacement for this RAID 1 mirrored drive, and it's automatically going to start mirroring it. That mirroring is handled at the RAID controller card level. I don't get to see that on screen at all. Now, if I did have some extra management utility installed, I can see that, but I haven't done that, and I never have experience doing that. I will be doing that on the new server that we're getting because we'll just do a more current level job of managing it. I do not have any other clients using this level of server currently, so I don't have a lot of background with it, but I have a lot of years with these servers and the prior 2 servers that we had in this office functioning this way, and the prior 2 servers we had. So this new server we're about to get is going to be my 4th time upgrading to new servers or replacement servers with this office. So it's easy to do, and I call this a backup. I consider this a form of backup because the backups that we do for in the cloud and the external drive backups that we do, that's focused on the RAID 5 data drives. I think we also do external backup of the boot drives, but we don't do as much backup of the boot drives because they don't change. They stay pretty stable. So I'm using this method of taking out the second of the 2 mirror drives occasionally so that I have a recent form of backup. If the boot drive crashes on this server, I could take both of those drives out, put in the drive that I previously had extracted, and I will have to import the foreign configuration. And I have done that before, so I do have experience with importing a foreign configuration. And I do have, remember there's 4 servers, and the 4th server is here. I could demonstrate that in the lab here, and I could open up that server to show you what it looks like inside. If you're interested in that, I would like to have you drop a note, not in the chat room, but in the comments on the video after the premiere is over with. Don't do it in the chat room because those comments in the chat room do not survive. It'll be better to put the request that you have like that into the comments on the video or send it by email. But my preference would be the comments. Now, is that the last one? Let's play this again and see if, are we done? Yeah, that's where I'm doing that. Okay, so right arrow to go to the next video. Here I'm showing that I'm pointing out here, these two are the 146 gigabytes. That replacement drive that I put in there did not have this label, and that's because I had to use one of the other carriages. Somewhere back in the past, I swapped that out. In fact, I think I have the other drive carriage here that has the 146 gigabyte label, because inside these cassettes or carriages, cartridges, whatever you want to call them, you can just unscrew the 3.5-inch drive that's in there and swap it out. Next photo is, this is a different topic, right? Yeah, that's a different topic. So that's the end of this video. I mentioned sending an email to me. There's the email address at the bottom of the screen. And I should once in a while mention what I'd really love to be doing with this channel, and I've done some of it in the past, haven't had any takers for a long time, is on the Saturday show that begins at 11 a.m. on Saturdays. I'd love to be able to connect remotely to somebody's computer and help with whatever is not working right on that computer, or even a training session. It's been a long time since anybody has taken me up on that offer. Typically, our Saturday shows has been me doing something on the table here, or talking about various different technical content, but usually I've got something here to work with. But I'd love to be able to work on somebody else's problem, connecting to your computer remotely, coming into the Zoom session. We haven't had a lot of people coming into the Zoom session. Mostly they've been coming into the Zoom session just to participate audibly with their mics in the conversation rather than just through chat. So I'd like to get that going a little bit more. Those two, more people in the Zoom session, actually in the Zoom session with a question. Hey, Doug, how do you do such and such? And maybe then connect to your computer. So there's another pitch for that. I hope that's been useful. Ken Stout coming up next, should be an auto redirect. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.